Medfield TV presents Meet the Candidates interviews with our citizens running for local offices. This is a series brought to you by the joint efforts of Carol Mayer, Town Clerk, Perry Oasis, Medfield High School Social Studies teacher, as well as Rachel Ferrulo of Medfield TV. I'm Connor Adams from Medfield High School. I'll be posing questions to the candidate. You'll have 2 minutes to respond to each question. At the end of the questioning period, the candidate will have an additional 2 minutes to address the TV audience. Today we're interviewing Mel Seibolt. He's an incumbent running for the office of Park and Recreation. This position is for a 3-year term. There are 2 positions open. He's running unopposed. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
It's good to hear. Your first question is, if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask, where or how can they contact you?
Usually I'm contacted through our director, Kevin Ryder, and that's at the Parks and Recreation. That's 359-2715. That's our direct line there, and Kevin can be reached there if they have to leave a message. I'll get it right away. So I have been reached at my home, and I certainly would not, especially if it was a fairly important question about any of our facilities or our programs, I would answer a question at home. So,
thank you. Your next question is, what projects are currently underway?
Currently, we are considering funding for shade structures at Hinkley Pond. Currently, we have all of our campers that will use Hinkley Pond during the summer daily. And unfortunately, we have really no structure for them to address inclement weather, flash rain or thunderstorm, or just basically the sun. This would be some place where they could eat their lunch underneath at a picnic table, or something of that nature.
Okay. What plans do you have for the state hospital?
Well, ideally, we would like to build a new park and recreation center across from the main campus in the vicinity of the sledding hill. Currently, there's a 12-acre parcel that is for municipal recreational use as granted by town meeting this past fall. We would look to build there, and we're currently doing a site feasibility study on where to place the building.
We'll be looking forward to further developments from that. What is the status of a new park and rec building being built?
Well, currently we have done almost 2 years ago, we did a programmatic study. We had a company from Chicago do a programmatic study to see whether a new Parks and Rec facility was feasible for Medfield. They said clearly it was. It would generate an inordinate amount of income. And right now, the stage we're in, we have a committee and the Permanent Building Committee looking into a site location for us. The question is, where do you put this? And is there more than one site that might be feasible to put a building?
Are you considering building a sports center for the town, such as a pool or skating rink?
No. The economics would preclude us from. We've had to drastically reduce the size of a building that we proposed just because of the cost, and adding something like a pool and or a skating rink would be prohibitive.
Okay. What separates you from other candidates?
Well, seeing there are no other candidates, what separates me is I've been an incumbent since 2007. So I've been doing this for 12 years, and it's the interest. I'm originally from Brookline. Brookline, my town, had the first full-time recreation department in the country, and the first $1 million budget for a recreation department. they see recreation as important as education in Brookline. And so consequently, I grew up through their programs. When I was in college, I worked in the summers as a camp leader for them. And you basically just a love of those type of programs. It's something certainly when I got to Medfield I was interested in pursuing. So.
Well, we thank you for your appreciation. We're very grateful for you for that. What experiences do you have, and how do you think that translates to the position for which you're running?
Well, the experience I've had, as far as recreation goes, as I said, having worked for a number of years with the Brookline Recreation Department, also professionally, I'm a retired police officer and was the president of the Police Association for a decade, and consequently, I would meet with a number of community groups, the Board of Selectmen, town meeting. I feel very comfortable speaking in front of all groups, and especially if you have something to convey to them that's important, as for instance, in our town, recreational issues.
What do you think your best success has been?
My best success. Well, I had proposed about 6 or 7 years ago, I had proposed to the Warrant Committee that we eliminate our private company that was handling our field maintenance contract. And I was not well received at the time, but we basically approached it, let's do it for a year to see how it works out and go from there. And that was at a time when privatization was big with municipalities. People didn't want to hire new employees because of cost benefits added to salaries. And it was thought that it was a lot cheaper. So we were paying between $120,000 to $130,000 a year for field maintenance. We hired a full-time field maintenance director we still have in Bryan Schools, who was the field maintenance director for the minor league baseball team in New Hampshire. And it was one of the best hires we've made. You only have to look at our fields. We have people from other towns commenting how nice the fields are. We saved $60,000 the first year, which allowed us to buy a Toro Groundmaster, this huge machine that cuts the grass, and it's worked out well. We get smiles from the Warrant Committee now.
That's a fascinating story. What else can you tell the voters about your skills and experience?
Just that I'm committed to the Parks and Rec and our programs. I think certainly that the fact that our programs, even though the majority of our programs are only K through 6, we've expanded the revenue we've generated from our programs from 4 years ago, just over $400,000 to last fiscal year $730,000. So we're an alternative, a recreational alternative for many people, including some people from outside the town who enjoy Hinkley Pond or would like to get into our programs. But we have a policy that's Medfield residents first. So,
what are some common misconceptions about your role?
Well, the Parks and Rec Commission role, probably that we're just figureheads. We don't do a lot. We meet twice a month, and if you notice on the website, we have our minutes are pretty much always up in a timely manner. And the commission, there are 5 of us. We take it seriously. I mean, we've had issues, Lyme disease issue. We had a group of parents come to us concerned about why aren't you spraying the fields? We had to basically show them documentation that you don't spray fields. You spray the brush areas around it. So they were satisfied with that, and just any type of issues that might come up relative to Parks and Recreation, we deal with, and we deal with in a timely manner. Like all departments in town do. So.
Well, thank you very much. Now, would you please take a few moments to speak to the audience? You have up to 2 minutes to respond.
Well, I would just say that as a commission, we are committed to building a new Parks and Recreation Center. It's been long overdue. We've had 2 selectmen subcommittees look into the issue from the early 2000s, and basically one committee just reiterated what the other said, that the FAF Center is, I believe, the oldest town building that's in use, and it's dilapidated. We do very little repair to it because it's just not economically feasible. The buildings has asbestos, PCBs, lack of handicap access, and it only allows us to address programs for kindergarten through 6th grade. And our charge is to provide affordable recreational opportunities to all residents of the town of Medfield, and we're not doing that. We have virtually nothing for seniors. We have nothing for adults. We run a couple of middle school ski programs, but there's a 7 through 12. I mean, very vulnerable age group, and grade 7 through 12. We need to address some recreational opportunities for them. We can do that with a new building. Also, we have virtually every youth basketball travel team in this town is practicing out of town, and that's revenue that's leaving town. So it would be a benefit for people to stay in town where their teams play.
Well, we look forward to hearing from you about more from these issues. Wish to express our gratitude towards the candidate for participating in this interview. Please remember that democracy is not a spectator sport. Please vote on the center at Ice House Road on Monday, March 25th from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
We have done almost 2 years ago, we did a programmatic study. We had a company from Chicago do a programmatic study to see whether a new Parks and Rec facility was feasible for Medfield. They said clearly it was. It would generate an inordinate amount of income. And right now, the stage we're in, we have a committee and the Permanent Building Committee looking into